Okay, this is a walkthrough on question number 16 from the homework on 10.7. They're asking us to find the center and radius of a circle, and then they're giving us an equation for that circle. They also ask us to graph this thing, but I think once we have the equation, the graphing piece probably won't be so bad, or once we know the center and the radius, and we'll do that too at the end. So we're given an equation for a circle. And you notice it has an x squared and a y squared. So these are the building blocks for the circle. You need to have those two components in there. So you need something with an x squared and a y squared. The general form for a circle, if it's centered at the origin, is x squared plus y squared equals r squared, r being the radius amount. So that would be if you're centered right at the origin. When you shift that center left or right, what you end up with, and different books use different letters for this, is you end up with what looks to be the same equation. Still has the, and I'll use a highlighter here, still has a plus sign separating x and y, still has an r squared out all by itself. But now when you move the center away from the origin, you get this more complicated looking expression, although in reality, it is the same thing. If we were centered at the origin, h and k would be 0. So you'd have x minus 0, which is just x. You'd have y minus 0, which is just y. And then you're squaring both of those. And not all books use h and k for the center. Some books will use an a and a b. H and k is just more typical of particularly upper level math books, but really all high school math books tend towards using h and k. So that's our generic form for a circle. So as a for instance, if we came up with x minus 2 squared plus y minus, let's say y plus 7 squared equals 25. 25 is 5 squared, so our radius would be 5, and our center would be 2 comma negative 7. That's not, well, I guess I haven't checked. That's quite likely not the answer, so this is like an aside. It's really unlikely that I guessed what the answer was based off the setup, but just saying, okay, here's what a circle is. So then what that means, or why I'm doing that, is I'm gonna leave a big space in between here. What I want to do with each of these circle equations is break it into 3 pieces. So, and I'll again use my highlighter because I think that helps kind of see it. I want to break it into 1 piece, 2 pieces, and 3 pieces. So those 3 blue pieces, here are those 3 pieces, 1 piece, 2 piece, and 3 piece. And the reason I'm leaving the space in there is, for me, that's how I think about these things. I think, okay, I'm going to use this space and I'm going to try to create this y minus k squared. I'm going to use this space over here and I'm going to try to do the first piece, the x squared, and then this piece all by itself is going to be the radius. And I'm going to keep it as 3 separate pieces. This one actually, I don't know if it makes it easier or harder, but you don't need to do anything with the x because there's no other x term. We can just leave it as x squared. Technically, it's x minus 0 quantity squared, meaning the x part of the center is going to be at 0. But typically, you just leave it as x squared. And then what we need to do is come up with some number that's going to sit right here. So some number, I'll put a plus some number that's going to sit right there that's going to allow me to create a perfect square. And, you know, I know the book presents a formula for doing this, and actually a lot of textbooks do. I tend to think about this from a bigger picture standpoint. I think about what would I want to see there to have a perfect square. So that question mark means, what do I want to see if it's a perfect square? Let's for instance, let's just say what I know what a perfect square has to look like. It has to have a y and a y. That's what it means to be parenthesis with a y and then a squared, which is what we're looking to create. So I need a y and a y. I then either need a plus and a plus or a minus and a minus. So it has to be exactly the same. In this case, because the plus is right here, because that's a positive 4y, I know it has to be a plus and a plus. And then what I have to do is come up with a numeric value that's the exact same in both of these spots. And again, the book presents a formula for coming up with that value. I much prefer just a really, really educated guessing and checking. As a for instance, let's say there was a 1 in there and I FOILed this thing out. It'd be y times y So let's see, I'll do that down here with a different color. So it'd be if it was y plus 1 squared, which is y plus 1 times y plus 1. Your first arc would generate y squared. Your second arc would generate a plus 1y. Your third arc would generate another plus 1y, and then your last arc would be a plus 1. You're always going to get the exact same two terms in the middle. Your first term is always going to be a y squared. Your last term is what happens when the numbers are multiplied. But that middle one, they're always going to match because you've set up something that's an exact copy. And in this case, that's a 2y, so actually it doesn't get me the 4 in the middle. And the number that would get the 4 in the middle, the two things that would need to add together, instead of adding 1y and 1y, I need to add 2y and 2y. The way you get that is instead of a 1, we're going to make that a 2. And then in this case, when we FOIL it, if I have y plus 2 times y plus 2, I'm going to arc it out. I get y squared from the first arc. I get a 2y. I get another 2y. And then I get a 2 times 2, which is 4. There, 2 plus 2 gets me the 4 in the middle. So what I'm looking to do is come up with some numeric value that's going to sit in here that when I add it to itself is going to generate that number. And that numeric value in this case is 2. Well, then what's the result of 2 times 2? That's a 4. In other words, what number I would like to see here where this question mark is a 4. If I saw a 4 there, that thing then can be split into a perfect square. So this 3-term expression, y squared plus 4y plus 4, that can be broken out as y plus 2 times y plus 2, or another way to write that is y plus 2 quantity squared. The thing is there isn't a 4 there. So I'm going to put it there. And if I put something on the left-hand side of an equal sign, I then need to put that same thing on the right-hand side. So I need to do 32 plus 4. So again, if I'm going to add a 4 right here, I've got to also add a 4 over here. So I added it here. It gave me my perfect square. Over here, 32 plus 4 is 36. And there is my generic structure for a circle. Again, technically speaking, this is x minus 0 squared, but we typically just leave it as x squared. That means my center is at 0, negative 2. The reason it's a negative 2 is that generic form for a circle, which I put right over here. The generic form for a circle is a y minus. So what number has to sit there to get a y plus 2? It has to be a negative 2. Minus a negative 2 would be a plus 2. Or another way to think about it, it's the opposite of whatever sign shows up in there. But the reason it's the opposite is because of this minus sign. So that's your center, 0, negative 2. And then your radius is whatever this is square rooted. So 36 can also be written as 6 squared. There's your r squared. And then your radius is 6. So last step, they want us to graph this thing. So I'm going to say, okay, 0 down to negative 2. There's my center. And then I'm going to go up 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 to here. Down 6. I'm going to go left 6 and right 6. And I'm being a little bit lax with my point drawing, but that part's probably the easiest part, the graphing piece, once you have your center and your radius. So completing the square, again, I know there's a formula to do it, but the way I think about it is I split it up into 3 pieces, 1 piece, 2 piece, 3 pieces, and I say, okay, what number do I need to see to make that a perfect square? And the number, in this case, the only one we needed was the 4. It gets a little more challenging, or I guess there's an extra step had there been an x term in here. And I can work through a problem like that and put a video together on it as well. To show what that looks like. So hopefully this helps. And again, this is question 16 from the 10-7 homework.